The first thing we did was just make something we call a very advanced reclocking. It's not the only company in the world who does it, but we decided that when all these ones and zeros comes into our amp, we stop them in our own little memory bank, and then we build the whole data stream up again in the rhythm and precision we want to make less errors. And that's why we launched USB inputs in 2008. We were one of the first serious manufacturers with USB input. We made better and better DA converters. Then we realized that all these kids, and when all the kids want it, it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 years before you and I also want it. We actually want to get just the music from our phones. I mean, you use an app called M-Connect that we think works really good. I use my iPhone and AirPlay for 95% of my listening, and everybody else in the household does. So we saw that getting the music from here to here wirelessly was the very big thing. And this, the Rust, and this new H190, the previous H160, we also have our own version of Apple AirPlay. Because Apple AirPlay is something that just always works. But it requires quite a bit of work. AirPlay is essentially really good. It doesn't do much wrong at all. But it doesn't play high resolution for those who want that. When you want to play your high resolution music, you must connect the computer or use a sort of a NAS drive or an advanced high-end app like you do. There's another one called Bubble UPnP for Android. But for everyday listening, we made an AirPlay that is really good. And we have it in the new amplifiers. Apple users know that Apple usually works. I'm not a big Apple fan, but I know that my Apple gear always works. And it's because they're very strict. So when we wanted to make Apple AirPlay, we got a 2,500 page thick book from Apple that we had to follow in all tiny detail and just build everything. We even had to send them the boxes for certification, so they made certain the boxes look good. But the result is an Apple AirPlay that sounds really good, almost comparable to a CD or streaming from a NAS drive or a PC. Not quite, but almost. And it's very much better than streaming it through an Apple TV or an Airport Express or something like that. But connectivity is the second thing that the Rust gives you. The Rust and the bigger Hegel amplifiers. Connectivity with good performance, high-end performance. It's better than connecting the digital output of a Blue Sound or a Sonos. It's much better. Because some of those small entry-level devices, they mess this digital signal up completely beyond repair before they ship it out again. You can use the Sonos, if you like it, for everyday listening. For critical listening, switch to AirPlay, or switch to a PC or a NAS drive. Anything that has to do with streaming, movies or music, if you can use a wire, always use a wire. It is better. Now we're using the Tidal application. And of course you're not using the volume control in the phone, it's remote control.
Sorry, but I had to ring your doorbell.
A well set up PC or Mac is really, really good as a music source, to be the case. But, as I said, for almost all my listening, I still use streaming because it's extremely convenient. I just drag forward my MacBook whenever I really want to tweak it. It's a little bit like putting on a record on a turntable. Spent too much time talking about these, but these really leads on to the new amp that we're launching here. It's the H190 that will come to the shops in 3 weeks. The H190 is, in many ways, an evolution going from this. Because in all honesty, when you open all 3 top covers in these 3 amps, they look very much the same. What this one has, it does have the same display, it does have the same new sound engine version as the Rust does. So it has many of the same qualities. In addition to that, it has twice the power output, so it's 150 watts per channel. Well, this is 75. The H190 also has the capacity to support an even higher damping factor. So the damping factor, bass control, marketing-wise, is 4,000 in the H190. It's 1,000 in the H80, 2,000 in the Rust, and 4,000 in the H190. Theoretically, it shouldn't be that audible, but I think it is when I compare it. And I think the high damping factor and the stability of this amp is one of the reasons I can play it on really big loudspeakers and never think for a second that it is an amplifier at this price point. The other small things we've done in this amplifier is a new streaming platform, so it's a better streamer than any other amp we have. So AirPlay might be a little bit better. It supports some new functions like Spotify Connect that makes it very convenient to connect Spotify. Well, it technically does, but we're not allowed to say it for about 2 months, and then there will be an official launch with a free software upgrade. And we've done some specific things in the power amplifier, something that was discovered by chance, because whenever we make products, we try to save small amounts of money here, small amount here, small amount there, small amount there. This is the only way we can make high-performance amp that most of us can actually buy if we really want it. This one could easily cost 2-3 times as much if we didn't think this way. And one of the guys, the engineers, was trying to save 5, 6, 7 cents on a transistor that isn't really directly connected to the signal path. And he did, and just to be absolutely certain, we did a listen, because we couldn't measure anything going wrong, and it completely lost the sense of bass response that we thought it should have. It's something called a pre-driver transistor. And he was trying to put in a cheaper one. So that led to a lot of noise in the company, and it took a while before we really sorted out what happened. But instead of saving 5 cents, we spent $10 on making a much better implementation of it. That lifted the performance quite significantly. That is much the way we work, and the H190 incorporates a lot of those small but altogether important updates compared to a Rust.